It's always a holiday when there's a margarita. It's not overly busy, to be honest with you. You need to sit down. Woo! It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm drunk. Somebody pour me a cup of black coffee. I think I've really exhausted the alcohol jokes and puns. Salted margarita bars, scene 1A, take 1. Hello everybody, I'm Vaughn here in the NYT Cooking Studio kitchen, and today I'm gonna be making some salted margarita bars. They're boozy, they're floozy, they're not oozy. They're just quite delicious. When I was developing this recipe, I was thinking a lot about your traditional key lime pie. So I decided to swap out the graham cracker crust for saltine crust to kind of harken that salty rim. And then you have your pretty tart lime curd that's also quite boozy, topped with some flaky sea salt to really just reinforce that salty margarita vibe. Oh my God, baby, I'm on a beach. So the first component of this recipe is the saltine crust. So I'm gonna melt this butter. I like melting it in the microwave, to be honest with you. Our recipe editor, Genevieve Coe, actually taught me a good little trick. Take this wrapper, since it's a full stick, put it over. I'm gonna melt it, and then actually it's gonna catch all the splatters in the microwave, and anything that's residual left over on here, I'm gonna use to grease my pan. This layer of butter is really just to ensure some stickage with my parchment. These bars do bake, but you freeze the bars once they cool to kind of give you that frozen margarita vibe. And this parchment just really helps lift that out super, super easily. So this recipe calls for your standard sleeve of saltines. The greasy butter is causing, it's hard to open. Open the saltines before you grease the pan. Saltines are a little bland. I think that's kind of the point of them. A little bit of sugar, and then adding a little bit of salt helps round that out even more. I'm just gonna pulse this. If you do not have a food processor, no worries. You just use a rolling pin and a plastic bag or something of the sort. All right, so I'm gonna add my melted butter. So you're looking for the texture of, dare I say, wet sand, like you're at a beach. All right, let's see if I can figure this out. Oh, that was easy. Just put this crust in here. To press this down, you can use your hands. Sometimes a highball glass works really well for this. And I am kind of pressing it pretty firmly because you want to be able to pick it up and eat it like a bar. It was great. This is called acting. I'm gonna pop this in the freezer for about 15 minutes. It's just gonna help it be more structural after it bakes. Okay, so my crust has been freezing, and it's just really nice and cohesive now. I could actually probably lift this up even without baking it. So I'm gonna bake this for about 15 to 18 minutes until fragrant golden brown. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the curd. I'm basically making a margarita and mixing it with some egg yolks and some sweetened condensed milk and putting it on top of some saltines. This is something that you don't really wanna do too far in advance just because the acid component of this mixed with, in this case, egg yolks can actually start to cook it, and that will just really alter the texture. It will be kind of curdled, which is ironic, I know. Zest, just a couple teaspoons of lime here. Add a half cup. I'm gonna add my zest in there. So I'm just gonna make my marg. I'm at a half cup here, and I'm just gonna use this to get myself to 3/4 cup. 2 shots of vodka. I love Sandra Lee. And I've got my orange liqueur here, some gourmand. A little pinch of salt there to bring it all out. My spidey senses are tingling. I think my saltine crust is ready. And by my spidey senses tingling, I mean Young Gun just told me that they're ready. That is fragrant and golden brown. That is just gonna hang out there. And now I'm just gonna finish making the curd with the egg yolks and the sweetened condensed milk. Perfect. Whisk the sweetened condensed milk and the egg yolks. Make sure it's nice and homogeneous. I also love this recipe. They come together really quickly, but you can also make them far ahead. Things keep in the freezer for a very long time. And that looks absolutely gorgeous. Kind of work it into the corners here to make sure that it's nice and even. So those bake for about 15 minutes until the edges are gonna look a little bit set. It's still gonna be wobbly, jiggly in the middle, and that's really important. You do not want it to be completely set. Ooh, that's the jiggle we want. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. That's just gonna cool to room temp. Then I'm gonna stick those in the freezer. Alcohol that's actually present in there will really keep it from freezing, and it keeps a really nice texture in the freezer. We do have a swap of the bars. These actually froze overnight, minimum of 2 hours. So I'm just gonna like loosen up around the edges here. Wow. So I'm just gonna top them with some flaky sea salt. I'm drunk. Cut these into 16 bars. Oh, look at that cross section. They're like a party, you know? I feel like we might want to put them on a platter. They're like a fun color. Ooh, you know, this blue one could be fun. No, it's like, this one's happier, I think. They're just like, I don't know, like the perfect little snack. A Jell-O shot for people who love themselves. This one looks like mine. I'm gonna try them, they look amazing. Everything is really well balanced. So you have the soft curd, the really crunchy crust. You've got the tartness and the sweetness of the curd, and the salt from the crust, and the salt on top. It's just like, everything is really working for me. And you do get some tequila in there. It's not overly boozy, honestly. It's not overly boozy, to be honest with you. I do think that this is kind of like the perfect summer dessert. I love these things. If you want this recipe, any other fun party recipes, head to New York Times Cooking. One of my favorite things about this recipe is that the leftovers store in the freezer, and it's so easy to just take a little Tupperware and pop them in there.